Ho, ho, ho. It's time for you to know that it's about that time of the year again. In other words, please sit back and relax and enjoy your Christmas episode of Cold Man's Winter with yours truly, Taylor Jones. And it starts right about now. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And once again, you are here to witness Cold Man's Winter. But this time, it's a Christmas special. Now, every now and then when holiday seasons come up, I always happen to have a Christmas themed type episode, as well as New Year's Eve type episode, wishing that everybody would understand the true meaning of Christmas and to get ready for a brand new year that's coming your way. And for those that watched my last episode, Bigotry, episode 1, thank you for your support and understanding how serious life can be. Because racism is too complicated to accept and to move on, because everybody's played the fool sometimes. The main ingredient from 1972, I believe. So, what do I want to talk about for this Christmas? If you think about Christmas, you think about God. Well, the Son, Jesus Christ, born in a manger out in Bethlehem. And the key word Christmas to me is two words. Christ, referring to Jesus Christ, and the Spanish word mas, that means more. Based on the Taco Bell commercials you see nowadays referring to Taco Bell, live mas. Dong, live more. So we need more Christmas, more Christ. But when it comes to two individuals, they see life in a whole different level, especially in the time of year. Because what is Christmas if you don't know the true meaning of respect or love? And that's what I want to talk about. Respect. Now, when you think of respect, everybody knows it's more easy than to spell R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Aretha Franklin, God rest her soul, she spelled it for us. But when it comes to respect, two African American females had to learn life the hardest way. But who are these females? Where they come from? What's their background? What's their life about? Well, their names are Martina Harris, and Melanie Woods. Who are they? Martina Harris, from Chicago, Illinois. She was the oldest of 4 children. She graduated from high school. She was in the top 9 out of 10. She spent most of her life as a Chi-Town student, always staying out of trouble, especially when gangs started to build up, drugs were sown, violence started to erupt. Her parents were right by her side since day one. But life wasn't easy growing up in the 70s, and the 80s got tough for her. But after graduating high school in 1989, she found out that life is tougher than expected. So after graduating high school, she decided to move out to Tennessee. And she attended school out of state. And the first school that I could recommend that Martina went to, it was Memphis State University, which later became the University of Memphis, where she graduated with a bachelor's in 1994. No, 93. And she had lived an ordinary life as a Tennessean. Although she always travels back and forth to spend quality time with her parents, her siblings in Chicago, Illinois. And she always likes to wear a Chicago Bulls windbreaker, especially when fall begins. And she had a skull cap with the Bulls. Her favorite moment she would have is to go roller skating. Every Friday night she goes roller skating as long as she had to keep her grades in order, her homework in check, because college ain't no joke. But when it came to having her first child, everything started to slow down for her. But she kept her head high because she knew that God is watching her every movement. She wanted her to keep going. He wanted Martina to keep going. And as for Melanie Woods, it's a different story. Melanie Woods, just like Martina, born in the 1970s. But then again, late 1969. She spent most of her life in a five people family household. Yes. She's the middle child of 3 children. Her parents were together. And she was not from Chicago. So where was Melanie? Let's say she was from St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis. The Cardinals. The Ark. She graduated high school, but she was not like Martina. Martina was in the top 9th position of the top 10. Melanie, she wasn't in the top 10, but that didn't stop her. She knew that everybody is not meant to be the top of the class. It takes a whole lot of work, and even when you're after high school, you have to build up. She has been dealing with a lot of issues when it came to being picked on. But her father once said, them folks that be picking on you, they're gonna have another thing coming. But it better not come from you. God expects you to move on and turn the other cheek. But why would Melanie be picked on? Because people thought that she would not even last one day being a blonde head. So they made fun of her hair color. So she decided, you know what? I'm African American. Why can I act like a real woman? That's the thought she had at first. But her mother, she actually say it's not a good idea to turn your hair color to black. But her hair was black. But why did she turn into a blonde? Well, she wanted to see what being different looks like. A new norm. As long as she doesn't look like a rock star, the mohawks and the bangs and whatnot. She wanted her hair to stay natural. But in high school, she shut the haters up by joining a basketball team. She was number 31, like Reggie Miller. And sophomore year was the best year of her life. One of the best years of her life. Although she was young in heart, she was strong on the basketball court. And the team, her St. Louis high school team, they swept all the teams and ended up going to the championship. And they went gold. But junior and senior year, she had to build up. She built up with her basketball skills. Still number 31. But senior year, this is when she became, from being bullied for being a blonde to being the head supreme queen in the basketball scene, a team captain. And like sophomore year, her high school team in St. Louis, they ended up going to the state. An undefeated record. What was shocking, Melanie's team met against Martina's high school team from Chicago. St. Louis versus Chicago. And Martina was definitely supporting the Chi-Town. Remember, Chicago Bulls gear, but Melanie started to play against an all-black female basketball team. But in the end of the game, Melanie, she tried her very best to beat the buzzer beater. Well, actually take the final shot. But she did. Little did she know, the score was both 59-59. And the final shot, the buzzer beater, it was good, but she was fouled. So, with all the pressure kicking in, she had to take her final shot. Senior year, number 31, final shot, as in an and one. If she shoots and makes it, the team wins. If she misses, overtime. So, 3 dribbles. Melanie with the ponytail looks up to the hoop, bends down her knees, and she had like a little thought, like she heard her parents like give her some confident word of advice, even when it came to tough love, even when it came to being picked on for being a blonde. She shot the ball. Boom. 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 Like every movie you've seen in slow motion when someone takes a basketball shot. Melanie's ball went into the net. Swish. Martina was very peed off, like, ah, dang it! We lost to St. Louis. Ain't that something? But instead of being like, man, screw St. Louis. She like, you know what? I want to see where number 31 is going to go to school too. I gotta contact her, like know her better. And that's when respect came to Martina's mind after seeing a fighter that Melanie was. The final score: Melanie's high school team from St. Louis 60, Martina's basketball crew 59. She ended up, everybody gave her respect. Chi-Town gave her respect. St. Louis, mad respect. She went gold. She even had recruits. So after graduating high school from St. Louis High, let's say that she went to MSU, Memphis State University. But she was a little older than Martina. So Martina actually met Melanie when Melanie was a sophomore. Her first year as a Memphis State University Tiger, it didn't go according to plan, but like she knew, when she didn't make the top 10, she had to continue to build. And just like she did when she played basketball with St. Louis in high school, she started getting better. But she couldn't let her basketball talent be a distraction to her homework. She had to be serious about her homework. So, 1990 through 1991. 1991. Wait, no. I remember I said that Melanie... No. Martina went to University of Memphis, or MSU, back in 1989. So that means Melanie went to Memphis, MSU, in 1988. Yeah. They met in 89, 90. Because, matter of fact, they had the same class together. And they actually became, like in science classes they took, they had some chemistry together. Oh, bless me. They became lab partners. They made sure to keep everything in order. And just like Martina, during Christmas time, she takes a little trip. Melanie takes a trip back to St. Louis, which is not as far as Chicago. But when it came to basketball, she had to take it seriously. She took it seriously from sophomore year. Now, she and Martina, they started knowing each other since 89 in Memphis. They started to hang out when they had lunch together, when they had classes together. They even had to help each other out with some problems, especially when it came to relationships or come up with some master plans, like to change Melanie's basketball skills, like take it to the whole new level, even though Martina's not a basketball type. She rocks the Bulls. What do you think will be the first professional team that Melanie would rock? Let's say that her favorite team was the Cardinals, because she is from St. Louis. So, Chicago Bulls meets a St. Louis Cardinal in 1989. They got along, even when they have to deal with tough love. And when things about to go wrong, like arguments, they like, wait a minute. What are we doing? Why are we fighting? This is kind of like the female version of Juice that took place before the Tupac and the Omar Epps type Juice. But this is respect. As in, you want to be respected, you're going to have to prove it to me that you're not a fool. And that's how it was. It was like a good chemistry that started. One sat in the bench on the bleachers watching another individual humiliate her own high school basketball team from a different city, a different state, to win the champions, to being classmates, to being lunchmates, to being fellow Tigers. And they never let a man, they never let any negative thing, even when it came to dealing with police brutality or police like racial profiling. Because one Friday night, Melanie was invited by Martina to go skating. They had a good time. And let's just say that Martina picked up Melanie from her dorm. And her car, her first car, Martina's first car was a 1988 Chevrolet Caprice. She saved up good money. No. She had a car. Martina had a car for a while. She drove a Chevrolet Caprice, a box Chevy. But this one's from 1980-81. It was orange, like Tennessee Vols orange. No rims, just clean. Clean chrome bumpers from front and back. Excuse me. And she keeps it in good shape. Even when it was time to get her oil changed, even when it was time to get a car wash, even when it was time to fill up gas, she invited Melanie by picking her up, taking her to the skating rink. A skating rink that was predominantly black. And let's say that they came to the place around 6 p.m. 7, 8, and 9 p.m. They were having a good time, and they even skated up, like working up a black sweat, like the late Prince would say. Rest in purple, Prince. But when 9:30 hit, 9:30 p.m., they were like, it's about time we get back to Memphis, because they had a good time. And while they were getting ready to go to their car, let's say that some random cops saw what's going on at the skating rink, as if somebody started causing some ruckus. The police officer followed Melanie and Martina. An orange box Chevy was pulled over by a black and white box Chevy with the incandescent red and blue lights trailing. Now y'all know already I am a diehard fan of box Chevy, so this is not, now remember, this is 1990. 89-90. Pulled over to Martina. Martina, she played it calm, like, listen, Melanie, don't move a muscle. It's gonna be alright. We're going to take it easy. Hello, officer. How you doing? Is there a problem here? Yes. But unfortunately, since since the police decided to see what they were up to, they were like keeping their eye on them. So license and registration was given out, and then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose because the police officer decided to say, "Now you, ladies, I would like to ask you to get out the car." And both Martina and Melanie looked at each other. They were about to say, "What?" But they didn't. They didn't want to act the fool. They didn't want to get caught up. So they got out. Without hesitation, hands in the air, even when they didn't ask, because they know you got to put your hands up. Walk slowly. And the other cop that was with the cop that asked Martina and Melanie to get out of the car, the other cop starts to push on Melanie to make her fall. Oh, put your hands up, Negro. Gun cocked. Hey, now wait a minute. Melanie wanted to say something like, "Ugh," but she had the same mindset that kept her going because of her parents. Parents knowing that if anything happens, when push comes to shove, you keep your mouth shut. You listen to what they're saying. Melanie didn't act a fool. Like, after she got pushed and gun cocked to her by police number 2, what do you think Martina was about to face? Get on your knees. And what's funny, while she was told to get on her knees, let's just say that the cop had some nerve to sexually harass her, like touch her in places that made her uncomfortable, that Martina wanted to file a complaint to the police officer. But when it came to her getting the butt grab as if she got a gun, now you know that was too far. But Martina kept quiet. She did not want to act a fool. Especially when they realized that it's too much. And let's just say some random guy who also attended at the skating party took a picture. Recorded what was going on. 2 guys, 2 police officers making fun or racially profiling 2 females for nothing that they did. They just got pulled over, and it was part of the don't break the code routine. One guy from the skating rink filmed the police officer doing random negative things. But the guy who touched Martina in the worst way, well, it turns out it didn't look good on him. But then they realized, well, the other cop realized, like, okay, now my own partner, my head honcho has gone too far. So they got done racial profiling and sexually harassing both Martina and Melanie. They let them go. And they just, the head honcho cop, he played it clever. So when Melanie and Martina came home, it was like, listen, I don't know what the deal was, but I feel like at some point we might as well not go skating. Now wait a minute. There must be something that the whole family, the whole neighbors, everybody's going to do. Somebody's going to have to put an end to this. Yeah, but who? Listen. You are a powerful woman. You kept your mouth shut as much as I did. You think it was easy for me to be humiliated as a kid because I went blonde. For the fact that I was about to go back to wearing my natural black hair. I'm a black woman, and you are too. You kept your mouth shut when they touched you in the wrong way. I mean, what would you do if some guy drunk had to grab my breasts, my butt? What would you do? What would you do, Martina? You know, Melanie, if that happened, I would kick him where the sun don't shine. Probably hit him in the back of the head and have like a little gadget. Like what? My own purse. Gotta have something hard to fill in to knock him out. So, you lucky we just got away with it. I mean, we just dealt with police for the first time in Memphis, knowing that if they want to be racist, let them go. They're going to have their comeuppance. That's what my mom and dad told me. Everybody's going to have their way. But it's going to take God to see them for themselves, for the characters, and deal with them. So they shook hands. We just got through one police encounter, and we know the lessons. So instead of saying we're not going skating, we will skate again. But this time we're going to have more friends to back us up. And they did. So, but some Fridays are different. Now, Therese, though. Oh. Melanie, she had a busy schedule as a student and a basketball star. She has to juggle. And as for Martina, she had to stay in her dorm. That way she would never be humiliated or sexually harassed by another police officer while she's on the streets. And there was one guy who appeared on the news. He appeared on the news, which shocked both Melanie and Martina, because they were on the tape, the videotape. And the news anchor asked him, "What made you think that was a good idea?" Because some people think that they are safe when they're not. Police are getting out of hand, and I don't understand why. I mean, it's part of their routine to give us a check, but these are different. I guess they probably welcoming the new individuals that come to Memphis, like first time, with a negative way to say, "What's up? This is what we do around Memphis." You know what I'm saying? And like, so that's why I had to film it. And one of the females was sexually harassed. That I couldn't let that slide. I mean, what would you do if you had a daughter dealing with police like this? And because of that, the guy who was at the skating ring alongside Martina and Melanie that filmed the incident, it turns out he too had the brightest idea. But this is like way before the Rodney King being abused by 4 police officers, the video camera. This is it. This is a tough one. So, for a few Fridays, a few weeks, they were still working together. They still eat together. And they still hang out together. But sometimes they take their hangout situations to a whole different level. One day, you go to the movies. The other day, they have to come with an idea to go to the skating. So they try to do what they would consider a ladies' night out. And after skating on another Friday night, the same cops came to them and said that Martina's taillight was out, which was not. It worked perfect. It worked perfectly. And when Martina was about to look out, get out, miss. She's about to get humiliated once again. But this time, even worse. The cops really wanted to dog out Martina and Melanie. But the same guy that filmed it, a couple of individuals decided enough is enough. So one of them had an idea to bring out some lights, some bright lights. Ah! Hey, what the? Hey, get out of here! Get out of here! And then boom, 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 shot at the crowd from the skating rink. Oh snap! Ah! And that's when a corrupted cop mindset got them in trouble with their very own police station, the MPD, Memphis Police Department, the 901, the 528 cash, whatever you call the Memphis police. They decided to fire those two cops because first off, they were on the news about sexually harassing Martina and having both her and Melanie on gunpoint. Then, they were about to do the same thing that got them on the news the first time. That's like, enough is enough. Joe and John, you're fired. Turn in your guns and your badges. This thing cease now. And they were peed off. Mostly the head honcho that was driving behind the cop car and the one that does the most talking. He has a bigotry state of mind when it comes to black people, especially black women. A pervert in the force. But Melanie and Martina, they had to keep it going. So, Melanie, her sophomore year, basketball season went well, even though they made it to the Sweet 16 in 1990, spring of 90. That was far. But they lost to, let's say they lost to Ohio State, 59-76. Now that was a murder. And as for Martina, she decided to take her frustration with the police and try to stay calm. She was calm when she got pulled over. She never said a word. She just kept her mouth shut because her parents would expect her to do the same thing like Melanie's parents expect Melanie to do. This is exactly why they got respect. They shook hands and just walked away from it. But 1990 to 1991, bigger fish came to fry. Who would have thought that Melanie would turn out to be the team captain in junior year, though, of her basketball team? Lead the Memphis Tigers, the Lady Tigers, from the 1991-1992 1990 to 1991 season to the top 8, the Elite 8. First Sweet 16, then the Elite 8. Lost to, let's say they lost to the Lady Tigers of LSU. What was the score? 70-69, 1 point loss. But it's getting better and better, and the grades got better and better for Melanie. Melanie Woods. She was even interviewed about leading the Lady Tigers to the Elite 8 in 1991. And she even had covers. The cover of the newspaper articles, the magazines, Sports Illustrated, the college edition. But no! Martina Martina Harris. She kept her grades up. She had to go straight to Chicago. Like Chicago 1991. Christmas time. She went to Chicago and she spotted random things happening. One neighborhood was on fire. Other neighborhood was empty. Nobody was there. Traffic lights flashing yellow and red. But a bullet hit her heart, as in her mother was crying her eyes out. And it had something to do with the baby sibling, the fourth child, murdered from an stray bullet. And it was a gang fight. Martina's youngest sibling was at the wrong place, the wrong time, and died from a gunshot bullet to the chest. The weapon, an AK-47. Innocent bystanders were in the midst of the gunfire. She had to bury her younger sibling in Chi-Town. Buried before Christmas came to play. Man. But after the funeral, Martina and the parents had a talk. They even asked what it was like in Memphis. Martina told the truth about being sexually harassed and what happened to the cops that did her dirty. But meanwhile, Melanie had the time of her life, but it didn't last long after the 1991-1992 season. The 1991-1992 school year. Senior year. Now that was heartbreaking for Martina. Martina Harris, without Melanie Woods, she was the captain of the Lady Tigers of MSU. She led the basketball team to the Final Four. Sweet 16, 89, 90. 90, 91, Elite 8. The Final Four. However, they had another meetup with the Lady Tigers of LSU. They defeated LSU 1 year later. And the score was 80-76, a 4-point advantage, leading them to play in the finals. But who did the Lady Tigers play? Who did Melanie Ford have to face? Let's say that they faced against UCLA. And what's shocking, her older sister, she was at the crowd. She went to UCLA. She was supporting her West Coast team while spotting her sister play with the Memphis team. They played fair and square. Melanie did not get hurt, but like her senior year in St. Louis High, she found a way to stop the UCLA from taking her shine, to the fact that she led the Lady Tigers to an amazing victory. Final score against UCLA: 100 points to 78. A blowout. And it is a fictional story, because who in their bright mind is Melanie and Martina? So after causing Melanie's older sister to look shook for the 1991-1992 NCAA basketball tournament, the Final Four became Final Two, and Memphis Lady Tigers won. Heck, even the players of the fellows of MSU were shocked to see how the female Tigers became the champions of the NCAA championship for basketball. And then 1992, after winning the NCAA championship, graduation day came to play. Miss Melanie Woods graduated from the University of Memphis, Memphis State University, MSU, yes, MSU. She graduated, and she ended up in the summa cum laude honors. Martina was there at the graduation. She was heartbroken to see her say goodbye, especially seeing her with a cap and gown on. Martina had no other choice but to cry. Her tears fell straight down like this. Like this. A St. Louis champion. A die-hard Cardinals fan, because she was a St. Louis type girl. To graduate as a champion, an NCAA champion, in the summa cum laude. But although the professional women's league, it didn't happen until 1996, I believe. The WNBA. She wasn't prepared. I mean, I guess she wasn't eligible. She was not eligible to play. So she found a good job. And that's when she decided to head back to St. Louis. And even when Melanie packed up her belongings, Martina couldn't stop crying. She couldn't stop. Listen, you gotta get rid of those tears, Martina. I'm not gonna leave you. We were tough. We dealt with sexual harassment. We dealt with racial profiling. We dealt with a lot of things, especially homework. We had a lot of good times going to the movies, going skating. And now everybody at the skating rink is so proud of us for being brave to the fact that they decided to give the police officers a taste of their own medicine. To me, being a champion, you witnessed it. For for a Chicago Bull to meet a St. Louis Cardinal, that was a good key of respect. From Chi-Town to St. Louis to Memphis, we still got it going on. I'm going back to St. Louis, keeping up with my family, because I'd be darned to lose somebody like you lost your baby sibling. We still gonna be in touch. So they had digits. They exchanged numbers. Instead of shaking hands, they hugged it out. I love you, Melanie. I love you too, Martina. We're sisters for life. Remember that. Tigers for life as well. So, Melanie went back to St. Louis just to focus on her life after college. A bachelor's. But in '93, Miss Martina Harris, she ended up graduating from the MSU. I keep saying University of Memphis, that's the current name. But it's MSU, Memphis State University. She graduated in '93. She ended up in the magna cum laude. She worked her tail off. She made it known. But after graduating from Memphis, what was the first thing that Martina did? She headed back to Chicago. She kept up with her 1981 box Chevy. She rode that car until 1994 when the wheels started to fall off. And because of that, she got herself a job. What was shocking, while she went back to Chicago, Melanie from St. Louis started to have a child. Started to go in labor. But some folks from back home, they started to turn on Melanie. For what? They started to act like the same bullies that talk crap about her blonde hair. One person would demand Melanie to get a abortion. It's kind of like comparing that situation to Tamika Scott from Escape. Because in 1993, Tamika Scott really needed an understanding after the song Understanding came out. But she was pregnant in '94. She told the first manager, "You're going to have to find a replacement because I'm not going to kill my baby." And Latasha Scott said, "You're going to have to find 2 replacements because if my sister Tamika goes, I go." That was exactly the mindset that Melanie had. But this is before Tamika Scott. Because this is a fictional story and I'm comparing it to a real life event. But I'm trying to stay fictional here. Melanie and Martina. Melanie had her firstborn daughter. She tried all her might to be there for her. Just like she promised to be there for Martina. She stood by Martina in Memphis. But all hell broke loose when Martina came back to Chicago. Melanie had her first child in '93. 1 year later, '94, Martina became a mom. I mean, they tried their very best. They worked real good jobs. To the fact that, you know what? they started to miss each other and miss Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. So they decided to check out another place, another city. But 1997 was a downfall. Because in 1997, Martina's mom died. She had stage 4 cancer. And it really broke her down to the biggest straw. I mean, but not only that, sibling number 2 and 3, they were caught up in the gang life in Chi-Town. And this was a time when Do or Die came out with P.O.P.I.M.P. 96, 97. This is 97. When they came to mom's funeral, Martina's mother's funeral, they both were dressed up, bandanas. They had a rest in peace shirt with their mother on it. And they were both brothers. They were pallbearers. They had sunglasses on. And they even believed that the so-called men don't cry is a big fat lie was a lie. Big men don't cry is a big fat lie was the truth. Because men do cry. To be a motherless child, it's like you're a long way from home. But the fact is, Martina's mom's funeral was not just an average, everyday, normal funeral where you get buried 6 feet deep. She decided to take the cremation route. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And the father was still by Martina's side until 2009. 2009, he passed away. But how? Cardiac arrest. He always gives her some good advice. Even after Martina's mom died. But sibling number 2 and 3. Sibling number 2, he had to serve 20 years for murder. Since 2001. Sibling number 3, he gave up the street life. But he didn't turn into a Muslim, no. He actually decided, you know what? It's best for me to leave Chicago. So he moved out. He left Chicago in 2004. And he now resides in Seattle, Washington, or Washington State. Because there's another Washington, Washington, D.C. Please. That was back when the Supersonics were still in the NBA in 2004. But Martina, he's like, you know what? The Chicago life is not meant for me. Because a lot of things are going downhill. And I'm starting to miss Tennessee. So she decided to move on to Tennessee. At first, she started living as a Tennessean since 2005. 1 year after sibling number 3 moved to Seattle. But what part of Tennessee did she live in? Let's say that she started living in Jackson. She lived as a Jacksonian. She started working an ordinary 9-to-5 job. And she enjoyed the pay. and her pay for working Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 was $30 an hour. That'll be 10, 11, 12, 31, 30 $30 an hour. And she was providing for her child. She was providing so much to be a good example. But then another child came to play in her life. Martina ended up being a mother of two. But then in this current year, she's been a grandmother for a couple of years. Pass you what? Oh yeah. Oh, I got you. But as for Martina, she was doing everything she could, and unfortunately, one day, the job decided to let her go, not fire her. Like, we thank you for all your hard work, but your services are no longer required because they got new recruits. Now that could have been like a complication, like a complaint on why you're going to take out all the individuals that worked in your company for a decade or more for somebody new. But as for Melanie, she decided to leave the St. Louis life behind, and she missed Memphis so much she decided to move to as well. But it was 2010 when Melanie, reunited with Martina in person. Melanie Woods? Well, if it isn't Martina Harris, they came together, hugged each other. I am so glad to see you. I'm so glad to see you. And they talked about their lives. They talked about their lives, all the people that they missed, and the children that they have. They were enjoying themselves. But it was that beautiful day last year, 2022, a beautiful day for Miss Melanie Woods, when she came to the University of Memphis, and they had a day celebrated for her based on her 30th anniversary of leading the NCAA championship, and Martina was right by her side. But as for the police officers that ended up sexually harassing and racially profiling both Melanie and Martina, they were there too. Ma'am, do you remember me at all? Martina's like, no. Who are you exactly? We are the police officers that got fired because of our sexual harassments. So those two cops that pulled them over back in 1989-90, they wanted to make things right and apologize. Well, then again, it was actually the police officers' sons. They had children. Their sons apologized for the fathers, because the head honcho, he actually ended up dead for being a racist. He was sniped out while racially profiling another African American man in Memphis. He was sniped out, and the murderer got away, still at large into this day. And all the black individuals, they actually did not expect him. Okay, first of all, how did he get back in the force? Well, then again, he was in another police thing. Like, first off, how you gonna let a guy sexually harassing Martina and Melanie after pulling them over in the force? That don't make sense. He had his comeuppance, just like hearing Melanie's father say, they gonna have their way. I mean, they gonna have their day when they gonna regret everything, or that day the incident's gonna lead them to fall or perish. And the other guy who was with them, well, he turned out to have a worse life of crime. He started to join the Klan, and guess where that turned out? In 2019, around around 30-some years after losing his job for being part of the sexual harassment and racial profiling, he ended up lynched. But the Klan, they found his body on hanging on the noose, but it was based on somebody else that did it. Matter of fact, let's just say that the Klan accidentally killed him for mistaken identity. That was the same, and then they had to perish. Not to mention the police officers arrested the Klan for hanging one of their Klan members over mistaken identity. Now that was crazy. But for Martina and Melanie to reunite and to be Tennesseans and forever Memphis Tigers, all I can say is right on, because this is exactly what I mean by respect. So, who will you respect for the holiday season? You ought to respect your parents. You ought to respect your love, the love of your lives, your spouse, your job, your hobbies. But first and foremost, you got to respect God, because without God, you will never make it this far. You'll never get respect. And you will never see the day where you get yourself recognized for something you believe in. And that's exactly what Melanie Woods and Martina Harris had to face, from Chicago, Illinois, and St. Louis, Missouri, to Memphis, Tennessee, to losing loved ones and having hardships and overcoming them at the same time. So, with all that being said, this is yours truly, Taylor Jones, saying respect is the key of life. One of the keys. Because love is so much more. Because in Christmas, we all need respect. We all need love. We all need strength. I'd rather be a champion like Martina. Well, silent and brave like Martina, and a champion like Melanie. But I am a man and speaking out about what to expect when it comes to respect. And to top it all off, if you feel like you are in a situation and you decide you need to be respected more, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, TC Jones Edits. Click the notification bell and there'll be more in stores. And also, be on the lookout for the last episode that I made based on bigotry, episode 1, because the link will be in the description bar down below for you to listen and pay attention to it. I'm not trying to steer you to being angry or have a complaint, but you got to understand, We came from black and white spots, but what will it take for us to be in the gray area, as Mama would put it, my mom would put it. Think about that. Think on these things. And also, this Christmas episode has been brought to you by this week's Sweet Lady of the Week. But instead of one, I give you two sweet ladies of this week. And because of this so-called fictional story, two females came to mind when it came to respect. Like, who do I respect? Who are the meaning? Who are the inspiration of the fictional characters Martina Harris and Melanie Woods? Well, the Melanie Woods and Martina Harris in real life, to me, they're none other than both Mrs. Teresa Brooks and Mrs. Tanette Jenkins. And to both Teresa and Tanette, I never forgot about y'all. And that's why this fictional story was influenced by both your presence, both the hardships that you had to face, and how you turn things around from dark to light. Because we need more females like you. And I also thought it would be best to compare these fictional characters to you, because I could see that in you. A lot of guts, a lot of love, a lot of potential. Because African Americans, we have not been looked upon potential enough, but we can fix that. So, there you have it. This is yours truly, Taylor Jones, saying thank you for watching episode 2, the Christmas episode of Cold Man's Winter Season 5. Be on the flip side for episode 3 coming your way. Until then, it's yours truly, Taylor Jones, signing out. And have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.